Hey everyone, welcome to Pastor Plays. So we have Wednesday, all 8 episodes currently streaming on Netflix. And so we open up with Wednesday kind of defending her brother Pugsley's honor by throwing piranhas into the school pool of the swim team bullies. Yikes. And because only Wednesday can torture her brother, Wednesday gets thrown out of the regular school and gets sent to Nevermore Academy, school for outcasts, where her parents attended when they were, like 25 years ago when they were her age. And it's amazing how in the school of outcasts, with cliques such as fangs, furs, stoners, and scales, you have to watch the show to kind of get what that means if you can't already guess. But it's amazing how you can be weirder than the outcasted outcast and still be a leper, so to speak. It's very ironic kind of in this show. And there is this kind of understated humor throughout the overall show, but there's magic, some action, drama, and horror, supernatural element themes as well. And when the CGI is used, it is, to me, it's done very well to add to the story and not compensate for it. Now, Wednesday Adams, she attempts to master her emerging psychic abilities of seeing the future and the past, thwart a killing spree, and solve the mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago. And in regards to the killing spree and mystery, overall, it is good, involving the past, present, and even future if given more seasons. Either way, you can kind of narrow down the potential duo of villains there are, whether or not you guess kind of the right suspect of characters. You'll see who they are by the end, but it's really more, who's doing this and why, what's the connection between the past and the present, and why Wednesday seems to be in the middle of it. There is killing, there is some dismemberment of body parts. So depending on, maybe how young, if you're watching it with your kids, I think on the show it said like 14 and up, but yeah, depending on, how young your kids are, just kind of be aware of that stuff. And so then you have Enid Sinclair as the begrudgingly, friend of Wednesday, really her overall kind of first friend. And you also have Bianca Barclay as her school nemesis, the one that she combats with, the ones who they both each try to kind of show up one another throughout the show, but who both eventually take Wednesday out of her I am an island mentality, and she, in her own way, kinds of ends up opening up to other people more so than herself. There's also the loosely romantic interest triangle of Tyler and Xavier. Y'all gonna see how that plays out for yourselves. Wednesday may need love in her life if she only cared about it, if she feels that she needs it, you know. There's this line where the principal's like, we want to make you more well rounded, and Wednesday's basically like, well, I prefer to stay sharp edged. And that's a great way of kind of how her character overall is. She's not willing to conform to other people's expectations of her. She doesn't want to be compared to anybody but herself. She is very self-assured in a lot of ways. But the villains here are the people who are kind of doing these killing spree and the overall mystery. In some instances she is kind of meeting her match to an extent. She may solve it, she may not, but they do make her work for it. And Wednesday, the overall show, it gives me the feels and vibes of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina season one. I don't know if you ever watched that Netflix show. The first season of that was really good, and then as it kind of progressed throughout the last three seasons, the quality, certain things kind of fell off. But this show is very much in that wheelhouse and creating that aesthetic, but also its own aesthetic of this world where Wednesday is the focus and not her entire family. But when the Adams families show up, it does give dynamic to Wednesday Jenny Ortega's overall performance. The script is very good here. They give the actors something to work with, especially Jenny Ortega, who has to play Wednesday in a composed, reserved way with emoting in the eyes and trying not to show weakness no matter the situation or circumstance she finds herself in. And there also is this coming of age journey that Wednesday goes through here, whether or not she will admit it or not, she grows. She grows. Whether or not for the better or for the good, you're gonna have to kind of watch the show. But this is Jenny Ortega's show, and she does a very good job of making doing what she needs to do to to carry it. I'm not gonna say she carries the show. All the other actors, all her like supporting characters, everyone here does a great job, and everybody brings what they need to bring to their roles. But Jenny Ortega is a central character, and she does a very great job here. She is acting, and she knows what she's doing. Now, as we get into Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia Adams, Louise Guzman as Gomez Adams, when you do see them in the show, they do kind of um, give like this kind of radiant spotlight to the interactions as this them as a couple, and even when they're engaging their children. So I think they did a very great job as far as just casting these two, but the actors themselves do a very good job of conveying that kind of love that they have for each other and even their children. You have Isaac Ordonez as Pugsley, Wednesday's little brother. He does a good job too. Fred Armisen as Uncle Fester. He's only here for one episode though, but he does a great job and plays off Wednesday very well. And then you have Christina Ricci as Miss Thornhill, the original Wednesday from the 1990s movies, and she gives a campy performance. I think she does do a good job, but yeah, she does a good job, but I've seen her better in other roles. Not like that she does it, but it's just like a campy performance. That's like the best way that I can say it. And then you have Gwendolyn Christie as Miss Wims, the principal. You have Ricky Lindemholm as Dr. Kinbot. They do very good well as supporting characters, contrasting to Um, Wednesday's kind of hostility at being at Nevermore, and also trying to help guide her to like a better state of just trying to be a better person. Unwillingly, Wednesday is. This should have come out in October and not necessarily now in, November, the day before Thanksgiving, but Netflix had Dahmer and The Watcher, and this probably would have gotten lost in that month or last month in the shuffle of those two shows that, had all these record breaking views and different things like that. So putting it out now gives it a chance to find its audience and, hopefully, gets. Um, get signed on for a second season. The show does end or allude to more is going on than what we saw and what we know, even as well as what Wednesday thinks she knows and thinks that she's discovered, and sets up for season two, which I hope does happen because I really did like the show. This season, give it a watch. I mean, I don't really do pass or play on seasons per se. It's really more for movies. But I mean, as far as I would say, give a play, press play on this. If you have a Netflix subscription, I would say give Wednesday a play. Honestly, I think you'll like it. So far, the reviews I've seen as far as people's ratings has been actually pretty high. Of course, you can't please everybody. This review is just, my own particular opinion. But I would say if you watch it, whether you watch it by yourself or with your family, depending on how young your kids may be, this is a good show. Either way, if I tell you anymore, I basically would just be kind of, it'd be like a spoiler review, which I don't really do those. I prefer just to kind of give you an overall kind of review of the season. But either way, it's a play for me. I would say, if you got the time, watch these 8 episodes. They run for about between 40 to 50 minutes an episode, but it feels like a full season. They explore everything really well. Nothing feels rushed. Again, the acting to me is, especially Jenny Ortega, is really, she brings her A game here. And she's been picking a lot of interesting roles anyway, but she really does add to this, to the Wednesday character. But I do hope they do get greenlit for a second season. I really enjoyed this watch. I watched it basically straight through, um, without really stopping. So it was a great 8 episode watch. I was like, in each episode made me want to see the next episode. So either way, it's a play for me. If you like this review, hit the like button. If you have any comments, comment below. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.